Hello, art students. I'm going to go over some different colored pencil techniques with you using Prismacolors. To use your Prismacolors, use a tight circular motion, not a scribble motion, but a tight circular motion where you're overlapping those circles. Prismacolors are really meant to be layered to create all kinds of cool original colors. So what I'm going to show you now is how to do that layering. So I have a layer of green and I've gone over it with a layer of yellow, and I'm going to keep adding layers. And when I add those layers, I am using a pretty gentle amount of pressure. Next, I'm going to show you what violet looks like over black, so you can see what mixing black or layering black with other colors will do. Now I'm going to show you what white looks like over red when there are different layers of red. So what you're seeing right now is white over one layer of red. Next, I'm going to show you what it looks like when we have two layers of red. So I'm just adding another layer, and then I'm going to go over that with the white so you can see what that looks like. And then over on the far right, I'm going to show you what 3 layers of red look like with the white over the top. So it's a much different effect. And because I've got so many layers, I've also got more wax from that pencil built up. So at this point, now that I've got my white going here, it would be pretty difficult to add more layers on top of this. Now I'm going to show you 2 different blues with 2 different greens on top. Over here on the left, I have a cool blue with a cool green on top. It's light cerulean blue with true green, and I've got multiple layers happening of the green and the blue. On the right, you're going to see how to create a blue-green that's really different because the blue is warm and the green is warm that I'm layering over the top. So a very different effect. So the blue that I used was violet blue and then apple green. Now I'm going to show you what happens when you layer gray on top of a color. So layering gray on top of a color will neutralize it or tone it down. Over here I'm going to show you a warm red and a cool red with different browns on top. So here on the left I've got a cool or neutral red, it's crimson red, with a neutral brown on top, and that's just dark brown. And I've got 1 layer of each right now. Now I'm going to go back with that red to add a second layer, and then I'm going to go back over one last time with the brown. So you can see that by adding more and more layers, you're really building up color. Over on the right, I have a really warm red. It's almost an orange red with a warm brown. So I've got crimson red, or poppy red rather, with Tuscan brown. So I have, again, multiple layers. Now that I've got 1 layer of each, I'm going to go back over with 2 more layers to create that really rich color. Again, not using tons and tons of pressure because I don't want to build up too much wax, but light pressure and multiple layers. It's kind of counterintuitive, but trust me, it really works. Down here I'm going to show you something called gradation, which is when you gradually blend or fade one color into another. So I'm going to fade this yellow into this pinky red color. So I have half of this rectangle full of yellow and then the other half is full of that pinky red. And now I'm going to start adding a little bit of that pink on top of the yellow and then reversing it so that I'm adding a little bit of yellow on top of the pink. And I'm just going to keep going and building up the color. And then any place where there's a line that kind of disrupts the flow of the color, I'm going to go back over with more color so that I'm breaking up that line and there's more of a gradual change happening. So I'm just going to keep going over and adding more layers, even to the far right and the far left. I'm going to add more just pure yellow and pure pinky red. Last but not least, I'm going to show you what happens to a metallic pencil when you add more or less pressure. So on the far left here, I'm using very little pressure, so it's not looking too metallic. Now I'm going to show you what happens when I gradually add more and more pressure to my pencil and how that changes the look of the gold. So now I'm going to show you maximum pressure, so it looks very, very gold and metallic. But the only downside to this is that now I've also built up tons of wax. It's called a bloom, and I can no longer add layers.